Here we go. Hello and welcome. I'm Tracey-Jane Hughes from Manage Those Things and the Business Cheerleading Club. And I'm delighted today to have Sally Leech with me in our In Conversation With slot. And Sally, just give us a little bit of an overview about what you do.
Okay, well, I'm Sally. I'm 42 and I have two daughters. And I've recently set up the Menopause Club, having worked with in women's health for a number of years, really supporting women through the journey of finding their strengths and their ability to manage their lives so that they feel like they've got the passion and the strength and the energy to do all the things that we want to do. And I found as I was getting older and my clients were getting older, we were really struggling with new things that our bodies were throwing at us, our minds were throwing at us. And it was, how do we actually change some of the ways we might be approaching exercise, nutrition, mindset, work, all sorts of things, and realizing the kind of challenges we were going through. And so did a huge amounts of research, and I talk all things menopause. And it's really about helping women to find their best way through that transition in their lives so that it can be a real positive journey as opposed to a really negative part of their life.
Yeah, and I think, health is so important, isn't it, through
Absolutely.
any stage of our life. And, I know personally when I've been unwell or had certain health challenges that I haven't been able to run my business in the way that I want to run it. So this isn't just about business owners, but if we are working with colleagues, in a business, we have salaried employment. If we're not fit and healthy, we still can't do our job, can we?
Absolutely. And I think if you're working in a role or for a company or for yourself, and you're really passionate about that business, you kind of give your life to it, and you wake up thinking about it, you go to bed thinking about it, and it kind of consumes you. And actually taking that time to step back and think about, well, how do I need to serve myself and look after myself so that I can do all those things that I'm really excited and passionate about, becomes a bigger priority, but it often gets pushed to one side because think, well, actually, I won't do that bit of exercise, or I'll have a quick bite to eat because I want to get this done or that done or that done. And actually taking that step back to say, no, if I actually prioritize myself and my health, my business fly, or my company or the people I work with are going to get so much more out of me because I'm actually investing in myself.
Yeah, and I think one of those things, a lot of us, our parents as well, and I think we forget to prioritize ourselves because we're prioritizing our family, and I've found, and a lot of people that I've spoken to, that goes with onto their health side as well, because I know I'm busy running my children around to all of their sporting activities, but where do I fit my sporting activities in? So how do you help people, and what sort of tips do you give to the people that you're working with? I know you work particularly with women, Sally. So what sort of tips do you offer them to help them prioritize themselves within their busy work, family lives, so that they can stay fit and healthy?
I think the big part is planning. And not necessarily just saying, right, I'm going to have this routine, so every Monday I'm going to do this, every Wednesday I'm going to do that. There's always something that comes up. So suddenly the kids have got to go to an extra sporting event, or a meeting gets changed, or a client gets moved around, or you'll suddenly have to be away for work, or whatever it may be. And so actually planning on a week-by-week basis. So what I do is on a Sunday night is I look at the week ahead and think, what exercise sessions do I want to fit in this week? So when do I want to go running? What exercise classes do I want to go to? What home sessions am I going to do? And then I look at my diary and I think, okay, what is realistic? So for me, if I want to fit runs in, I generally have to go early in the morning because it's impossible to fit them in after work and with children and school activities and everything else that goes on. So I know I have to go at 7 in the morning to be able to fit it in, which may sound really scary and horrible. and it wasn't a routine I was ever in. But I made that decision that actually that is a priority for me, and I feel so much better for doing that. So it's about looking at your diary each week and saying, okay, what exercise sessions can I realistically fit in, and when am I going to do them? And the realistically is really important, because so many of our time, I do this all the time, think, right, next week, that's going to be it. It's going to be an amazing week. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to eat all this amazing healthy food. I'm not going to make any bad choices. I'm going to do loads of exercise. And then things happen. And then you spend the rest of that week beating yourself up because you haven't done something, or you've missed a session, or you've had to end up getting a takeaway because you didn't actually plan how long the meal would take to cook, and so you can't fit it in with where you've got to be. So realism is so important, because we do spend a huge amount of our time beating ourselves up for what we haven't done or what we should have done. And that to me is absolutely wasted energy, because what you should have done or what you haven't done is in the past. Let it go. And then it's okay, well, what am I going to do now? So looking at that week ahead and saying, okay, I can fit in a run on Tuesday and Thursday. I can go to the gym Wednesday nights, and I can go out for a walk with my friend at the weekend. And then put them in your diary as meeting events, just in the same way as you would do a client meeting or a training session, and then stick to them. Yeah. Because then it's actually part of your diaried week, rather than it being, oh no, I'll try and do some exercise this week. Because we all know every time you're going to do some exercise, there are a million and one other things that you could do. So that's definitely, from an exercise point of view, it's making sure you plan it out. And I'd also say the same from a nutrition point of view. When I do my food shopping, I plan out the week ahead what I'm going to eat. And I don't just mean plan your evening meals, which I think a lot of us do. It's actually, what am I going to have for breakfast, for lunch, for my evening meal? What snacks do I want in? But I do that in relation to my diary. So I know, for example, on a Monday night, we're in 3 different places at once. From the moment the kids finish school, there is very little time to eat. So I know I need to plan stuff that I can prepare in advance, that is easy to eat on the go. And if I actually plan that, I can still make it nutritious and enjoyable and nice. So again, planning to me is an absolutely critical tip.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm struggling at the moment because I've got my eldest, his training program has shifted around quite a bit. He's had an injury, and now he's just getting back into training, and that has a massive knock-on effect on the rest of the family, because where I was having time to create food when they came home from school, he's now not at school. He's finished his GCSEs. And he is now going to training as soon as the other one gets home from school. So there is no time for preparation time. So, but we haven't got a routine. So the planning, I'm finding I'm struggling with at the moment. I'll be honest. But that's it. It's about how finding flexible things that we can all eat that are nutritious and good, because the boys with doing so much sport need really good food, as well as me needing really good food and my husband needing really good food, for us all to be healthy and happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of it is things like thinking about what you can prepare in advance. So if you know that the week ahead is going to be one of those weeks where you have, from the moment one gets home from school, the other one's somewhere else, it's about thinking, well, maybe at the weekend, spending part of Sunday doing meal prep for the week. So thinking about what meals can I do a big batch of that then is just really easy to warm through, or what could I put in slow cooker in the morning? It's those kind of things. But if you don't prepare in advance, it's really, really hard to do on the spot. And then you do find yourself in those situations. But I think a change in routine is a really hard thing to manage, because you get yourself used to, this is what I do when I do it, and then something comes along and suddenly sidelines you, and you're like, right, I have no idea what I'm doing. And that's completely normal. So it's about thinking, okay, well, what could I do with, say Tuesday's a really bad day, what could I do in advance that would make Tuesday an easier day? And then, okay, I've got Tuesday sorted, right, what could I do to sort Thursday out? And just gradually kind of almost like peeling back all each of those situations that you find yourself in and think, okay, what practical things can I put in place in advance that would make that situation easier? But it's not easy, definitely.
It's not. And I think, all of us, whatever, job or family situation we're doing or caring responsibilities, if we can plan, then it helps everything,
Absolutely.
much easier, and it reduces our stress level, because I think when we're rushing about, the stress level increases, and then that has a knock-on effect on other health stuff, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And I think the big thing though as well with this is also, if you have a bad week because things have changed and you've not been able to plan, it's again what I was saying before about letting that go and not feeling guilty about it. And because we spend so much of our time. I did a recent blog about it's called You Are Enough, and it's about that, how we talk to ourselves. And the way we talk to ourselves about the things we haven't done and the things we should have done, we'd never speak to anyone else like that.
Yeah.
Because we're never that hard on anyone else, but we're so hard on ourselves. And so I do think some of it is, yes, in an ideal world, we plan and we prepare, and that's what we should be aiming for. But when it doesn't go to plan, that's also okay. You deal with it, you work your way through it, and then, okay, well, what is there something I can learn for next week? Or actually, no, that really didn't work. I remember recently thinking, right, I'm going to get some nice sea bass and I'll do a really nice one, because the girls are really good at eating fish. And I thought, we'll do that on Monday night before Emily has netball. It'd be lovely. Started cooking it, looked at my clock and realised there is no way in the world I can cook this and get her to netball on time. It's like, what was I thinking? And I think I can fit more into an hour than anyone else.
Yeah.
My husband says that to me all the time. He said, an hour is an hour. So it sometimes goes wrong, and that's fine. So I do think not being so hard on yourself, or anyone being so hard on themselves, to say, yes, it's great to plan and it's great to try and get organised, but when it goes wrong, that's also okay. And it's what can you do next?
Yeah. So in terms of things that we should be thinking about, Sally, and almost like, creating almost like a checklist for our health and well-being, what are the key things that we should be trying to think about and making sure we've got something in place to help us, continue sort of a fit and healthy life?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one to me is sleep. Often gets forgotten about in terms of, everyone always jumps to exercise and nutrition, which are incredibly important. But if you're not getting enough sleep, then actually what you feed your body with and the way you move your body, it may not have the same impact, because your body is just too tired to have the benefits of it. So sleep is absolutely essential. And with sleep, it's about looking at your daily routine that would allow you to get enough sleep. So yes, exercise is a part of that, food is a part of that, making sure you turn off technology early enough so that you've got time to wind down, looking at your bedtime routine. As children, and for those of us who have children, bedtime routine was something we really focused on with our children to enable them to have be ready and settled to go to sleep. And that really helped them to grow and to, flourish. But yet we don't do that for ourselves. And so to me, tackling any sleep issues is really, really important. The next one is stress. If we're constantly in a state of high stress, again, no matter how much exercise or good nutrition you give yourself, your body will really struggle. If you're wanting to lose weight, or if you're wanting to feel stronger or healthier, then if you're not tackling stress, then it's very, very difficult to gain the benefits from exercise and management. And I actually say to some clients I work with, they're desperate to lose weight and they're really, really uncomfortable in their bodies. I actually say, forget exercise and nutrition for a minute. Let's get your sleep sorted and let's reduce your stress levels. Then you'll be ready to start tackling food and nutrition, because you've got to have those are kind of your hygiene factors. They've got to be in place before you can do anything else. Then to me, it's about thinking about how you nourish your body as a positive thing. So much of the kind of nutrition world is around dieting and how you kind of deprive your body of certain things. And to me, we should be thinking about, well, how am I going to fuel my body? Why do I want to eat well and eat healthy? What's it going to give me? Rather than, oh, I can't have that because it's bad for me, or I'm not going to eat that. Yeah. So to me, absolutely thinking about, or trying to really change your mindset of thinking about eating healthy as a positive thing, not a restrictive thing. The kinds of things I work on nutrition-wise with clients is hydration, so drinking lots of water. I do a healthy habits program. So we look at hydration, we look at protein, so making sure you have a source of protein with every meal. So that really helps to build muscle mass, and it helps to keep your body fuller for longer, so you can start to manage some of your cravings. We look at reducing processed sugar. So not the sugar that's found naturally in fruits and vegetables and things like that. That's absolutely fine. It's about reducing that processed sugar that really doesn't benefit our body. It's also looking at increasing our vegetables, giving ourselves a real rainbow of food. So the more colour in your food, the better. Looking at how you snack. So is snacking a particular habit that's a bad issue for you? And if so, how could you change that into a positive? So if you're hungry, there is nothing wrong with eating, but it's then looking at what are the things that you could possibly swap some of your snacks for. If you're automatically going for cake or biscuits mid-afternoon, what are the alternatives that you can put into place? And then look at portion size. So looking at how, I certainly got brought up with, you need to finish what's on your plate. And I really try not to do that with my daughters, even though sometimes I'm eating that. Because in actual fact, if your body is telling you you're hungry, you're full, then you should stop eating. Yeah. So actually really starting to pace yourself when you're eating, and starting to listen to see when you're full to stop eating. I know I've been out for many an evening meal where you get to the end of it and you're just like, oh my God, I can't move. I'm so full. Because we just keep going and we don't think about it. And in actual fact, that's our body. We kind of lose the ability to listen to our signals from our body that we're actually full. So those are very much the tips from a nutrition point of view. Yeah. With exercise, to me, it's about finding something you love. Finding something you enjoy doing. So I love running. I genuinely really enjoy it. I'm not particularly good at it. I'm not particularly fast, but I just find it's something that I get a huge amount of pleasure from. But I work with clients who try running and they hate it. And so I say, don't do it. It's fine. There are so many different types of exercise out there. So to me, it's about finding something you enjoy. And again, changing your mindset that exercise isn't punishment for having eaten something bad. It's about really helping your body to feel good and feel strong and feel healthy. So that's very much for me is about trying to change your mindset that all of these things are for a good reason, not for a bad reason.
Yeah, and I love all of that, Sally. It's the positive side of things. It's not about taking things away. It's about doing things you love. It's about eating things you love. It's about creating. I love the rainbow food. We try and make children, again, we're going back to what we do with our children. We try and encourage our children to have rainbow food on their plates, or we make smiley faces out of food, and we make food fun. And then suddenly we become adults, and like you say, we're sort of taking stuff away, and it's just like, why can't we eat what we want, but in sensible portions? And if we are eating a variety of foods, then generally we're eating probably more healthily than we think we are.
Absolutely. And again, I think there's so much guilt attached to food. So, someone will have, a piece of cake or an ice cream in this weather and things like that. And then they spend so much time, feeling guilty about it and beating themselves, I shouldn't have eaten that, or, I'm going to have to go and do an extra hour in the gym or things. And I just think it's a crazy world that we live in, where we're constantly saying that negative self-talk again and telling ourselves off all the time. And it's like, if you have a piece of cake, you have a piece of cake. Enjoy it. Move on.
I love cake.
I love cake, absolutely love cake. So yeah, it's important to me to do all of this in balance and in moderation. And it's about, to me, every day, it's about trying to take steps to make yourself stronger and healthier. And some days they may be very small steps, some days they may be bigger steps. But as long as you're constantly trying to move towards being stronger and healthier, then actually what you're doing is the right thing.
Yeah. So is there when you're helping clients, Sally, are you working towards goals generally, or is it about those really, one day at a time type goal?
It very much depends on the client. So one client I'm working with at the moment has got a long weight loss journey that she wants to go on. She's struggled with her weight for many years, tried lots and lots of things, and really doesn't feel good about where she is at this current point in time. So we are working together to, she knows where she wants to be, but it feels a long way off at the moment. So for working with her, it's about actually taking that back and saying, okay, well, what do we need to do right now? And making sure each day we're moving towards where she wants to be. So and then breaking that goal down into smaller goals. So what are we trying to achieve this month? What are we trying to achieve over the first 3 months, 9 months, 12 months? And so it's a bit like the goals you have in your business. If you say, you've got one big, massive dream for your business, and it feels amazing to think that's where you could be. And I think it's really important to really visualize. And one of the things when I work with clients around their big goal is really understanding why that's important to them. So why do they want to achieve that? And what is that going to mean to them? How are they going to feel? What difference is that going to make to their life? And it's exactly the same in business. Why is that important to you? But then taking it back, okay, well, to get there, we've got a huge amount of steps to take. And if we just look at that big goal, it's always going to feel really scary and a long way off. So it's about really taking yourself back and saying, okay, well, if I want to get there by the end of this month, this is where I need to try and be. So say that goal a year away, you've got a good idea of what you need to achieve this month. And then, okay, well, if I want to achieve that this month, what do I need to do this week? What do I need to do tomorrow? And just actually really trying to break that down. And we try and tackle very personal things. So sometimes it might be habits that they've formed for many years. So we look at tracking their, so we do kind of like a tracker in terms of a food diary, but also getting them to share their worst possible day. So when they have a really awful day, what happens? So how much is the worst amount? And it's quite scary to share that, but it's kind of like I've seen it all before. I probably did it myself, and that's fine. But it's like having a real open, honest look at where your current situation is, rather than because it's very easy to hide. And a lot of clients I work with, it's kind of that secret eating, the eating you do when you're in the car on the way home, or when no one else is in the house, and you think, well, it doesn't really count because no one can see me. And helping people to identify the habits that they form, which is personal to them. And then we then try and actually look at, okay, well, what tactics can we put into place to try and tackle those habits? And they can feel quite scary if they've been habits that you're so used to. So we don't necessarily tackle everything at once. We might say, okay, well, if you're always stuck in the car on the way home, what else can we put in place that's going to help you to change that habit? And then we start to new habit. And then, okay, right, we tackle that one. What's the next habit we want to look at? And the same with food. I talked before about the habits program and, things like introducing, making sure you have lots of water and protein and vegetables. Again, if somebody does none of those things, trying to introduce them all can feel really scary, and it feels like you're moving into that diet territory. So what we'll try and do is, again, break it down and say, what habits have they not got within their current way of living, and how do we slowly introduce them? So they become, they fit. They basically stick, rather than, we're going to stick to it for a week or two and then it all goes out the window because it's too much.
Brilliant. Sally, you obviously, you've got a wealth of knowledge, and thank you so much for sharing those tips. You obviously work very closely now with women going through the menopause.
Yeah.
And I mean, men as well as women have hormonal changes and, you know, have different health challenges throughout their lives. And I'm sorry, I'm sort of going into darkness despite it being so sunny here.
Beautiful sunny weather.
So what are we're sort of, you know, coming to the end of our time, but are there any particular things that you want to add to business women and women in work that they can think about that would be extra things that they need to consider to keep themselves, you know, healthy and happy going through, you know, this challenge that we call the menopause?
Absolutely. I think the big thing is about really getting to know your body. One of the things that I work with clients first of all is, what's my body trying to tell me? And I think one of the things that's really important as we approach the menopause is our bodies do change, the way we respond to things change, and some of our symptoms can be really quite challenging. And so actually getting to understand, well, is there anything particularly triggering my symptoms? Is there anything that any particular situation, so if I'm particularly stressed, or, you know, is there a work situation where in a particular office, you know, there's not enough ventilation, or you know, if you could have a table fan or whatever it might be. So actually starting to get to understand what are the things that you're struggling with and what your body's trying to tell you from those. So the things that you can be able to change. I think in a work environment, it's really important to open up the conversation about menopause. It's still considered quite a taboo topic within the workplace, and it's crazy when all women are going to go through it. And there's been quite a lot of research recently around how much of a challenge it is for women in the workplace, and how many women are actually leaving the workplace in their 50s because they're struggling with symptoms and don't feel able to seek the help and support. And there are actually quite a lot of reasonable adjustments a company can make, or just by actually sharing with the manager or with your colleagues how you're feeling and things you're struggling with can just make you feel so much better equipped to deal with the challenges. So one of the big challenges is mind fog and that kind of forgetfulness. And so one thing one lady's got her manager to do is after every meeting, they make sure they write down everything and it gets sent through on email, so they both know exactly what they're doing. And she said it's a really small thing. And she said the manager stopped grabbing her in the corridor and saying, "Oh, we need to have a look at that thing." And then, you know, 50 other things happen and you completely forget about it because which you've done before. And you have no control over that, and that can feel really scary and really frustrating, and you feel like you're not doing a good job. So sharing that and talking about it as an example of how you can actually work better with colleagues by actually sharing. But it is a hard topic sometimes to talk about. I challenge people when I'm doing work with companies to mention the word menopause 3 times a day for a week and make it normal. Because the more you say it, the less taboo it becomes. So it's always quite a good challenge for people. And the men find that quite interesting to try and put menopause in the conversation 3 times a day. But it's, you know, it does work. You then start to think, well, you know, why don't we talk about it? It's something that happens. It shouldn't be something that we're scared about talking about. So, but it does have challenges for work, and just really thinking about listening to your body, working out what's going on for you, because the menopause is different for everyone, what things you can put into place that can change things, and if you need help, make sure you ask for help and ask for support from people you work with.
Yeah, and you part of what the work that you're doing, Sally, is you do have a support network. You've got loads of resources on your website for ladies and men, you know, if they're supporting somebody going through the menopause, you know, because sometimes women don't ask for themselves, or they don't know what's going on, and it's other people that recognize that, oh, what's going on with my partner, you know, my work colleague, you know, so you've got loads of resources on I can't say it, on the menopauseclub.com website. And you are offering, you know, lots of support for women, aren't you?
Absolutely. I mean, we have a private Facebook group that's just for women. So that's
Okay.
a closed group that only the women within that group can see. So if people want to talk about more personal issues or things that they're finding challenging, then there's a private forum to do that. But
Okay.
the public page and the website, yeah, there's a huge amount of resources. To me, the information side of the menopause should be available to everyone. What you're saying about information for men, there's a booklet that we do called What Every Woman Should Know About the Menopause. And one of the members of the club actually shared it with her husband, and it's the first time she'd been able to talk to her husband about the menopause because she got him to read it, and she said he suddenly started to make a bit more sense. But I am working on some stuff actually from a male point of view with my husband on actually, what men need to know about the menopause and how to, talk to your menopausal other half or colleagues about the menopause. What are the right things to say and what kind of support do they need? But looking at it a little bit from a male perspective, because it affects men just as much as it affects women in some ways.
Yeah, no, it does. So thank you so much, Sally, for all those amazing tips. And, even if we just do one little thing and just think about one thing, every month, then over time we will become, fitter, healthier, stronger, more aware of our bodies and more able to deal with whatever challenges, come up for us. And, what I'm hearing from you is about getting the right support will help us each step of the way. And, I know that personally that, I if I don't ask for help, I can't improve. I can't get better. So just like we might have a business coach for our business, having a health coach for our health, or a menopause coach for going through the menopause, whatever it might be, a food coach, all sorts of things. But what you offer is something quite special for women, especially. So thank you so much, Sally Leech from the Menopause Club, and I'm Tracey-Jane Hughes from Manage Those Things and the Business Cheerleading Club, where we also support people in all sorts of different ways. So it's fascinating that I'm getting to speak to lots of people that do lots of support work now, which is absolutely fabulous. So make sure you have a look at themenopauseclub.com, and thank you, Sally, for your time today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.